and gentlemen. I hope you all are having a great morning. My name is Salma.
And my name is Itai. I live in a small town next to Haifa called Lafit.
And I'm from the area of Nazareth. I'm an Arab.
And I'm Jewish.
And we're both participating in a program called Friends Forever, which is a coexistence program working in South Africa, Ireland, and in our case, Israel.
We live together for 2.5 weeks. And so we get to know each other through eating together, traveling together, experiencing together. And we can see now past the prejudice and the stereotypes we have.
All these activities strengthen our mutual belief in coexistence. But what is coexistence?
Coexistence is when I see a hijabi woman walking down my street in my town, and I don't think of her as a terrorist.
Coexistence is when I see a guy wearing a kippah walking down the streets of Nazareth, and I don't think of him as a killer or murderer.
Coexistence is when one of my father's best friends is Arab, because they get to see each other almost every day.
And it's when my Jewish guitar teacher doesn't glare at me for speaking Arabic.
All those things show us that coexistence is more than just wishful thinking. But there are still some people in each community that don't believe it.
For instance, a lot of Arabs are mad and furious at Jews because the government treats them better than us. For instance, 80% of my town's streets don't have any sidewalks, something you wouldn't be able to find in any Jewish town. I have a young sibling in 2nd grade, and my mom is always afraid of him walking alone home from school because there's a high likelihood that he will get hit by a car.
And on the other side, a lot of Jews are afraid of Arabs because of the wars Israel has had in the past and is having with other Middle Eastern countries. I remember for myself, up until the 7th grade, all I knew about Arabs was from social media. So every time we heard about a terrorist attack, it was done by Arabs. And as a child who tends to generalize, I used to think that all Arabs were terrorists. And I used to be afraid every time someone, my friends, my family, at school, and whenever someone talked about Arabs, I used to feel afraid.
But all of this shouldn't matter, and we are the biggest example that living together is more than just possible, and we can go past the stereotypes that divide us.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I'm not racist or something, but I'm just afraid whenever I hear people speak Arabic.
And I'm not racist too, but I think twice about being friends with Jews.
Yeah, and I don't believe in stereotypes either. I just used to think that all Arabs own camels.
I don't believe in stigmas, but I used to think for a long time that all Jews have curly locks in their hair.
We're not racist.
But maybe we are.
Maybe we all are.
For example, do I expect Asians to be good at math? Or Hispanics to like guacamole and tacos? But these stigmas are nothing compared to the hurtful ones that a lot of people experience every single day in their life.
Stereotypes have one big problem. They only represent a single story out of so many stories. Now, for example, if someone told you about a poor person, you would only think about the bad condition he's in, but no one would think about how talented he may be, or about the happy moments in his life.
My single story about Jews was that they are all killers that serve in the army immediately after finishing school. I didn't consider them as normal human beings living their lives.
My single story about Arabs was that they all believe in violence, and that they all want to hurt people, especially Jews. I didn't take it under consideration that they can be nice or human.
Thanks to Friends Forever, I got to visit for the first time in my life a synagogue, as well as an African-American church. And at the end of the day, we all had the same opinions about our experiences, Jews and Arabs.
Thanks to Friends Forever, I got to take part in a peace walk. I got to take part in team building exercises with both Arabs and Jews. I got to meet Salma and write a speech with her, and I got to know so many other cultures.
I got to see that Itai doesn't have any curly locks in his hair.
And I get to know that Salma does not own a fat camel.
Now I can say that I'm not ashamed of having Jewish friends. And I can also say that I'm kind of proud that I have met these people in this amazing journey.
And now I can say that I'm not afraid whenever I hear Arabic. Actually, I learned a few words.
After going halfway through this journey, each one of us has gone through his own process of getting past the prejudices and stereotypes that were planted in our brains by society.
This journey has opened our eyes. It allowed us to see past the prejudice, and it helped us know more than just a single story. Now we've broken the stereotypes we have.
Stories need to be told in order to be heard, and that's what we are doing, telling stories. Thank you.